Sweden will transfer 16 Jas-39 Gripen C fighter aircraft to Ukraine, while Kyiv is expected to procure 20 newly built Gripen EF variants. Formalized through a declaration signed on May 28th by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson, the agreement marks a major milestone in Ukraine's long-term air power modernization efforts. The roadmap establishes a multi-year cooperation framework that could ultimately lead to the acquisition of as many as 150 Gripen fighters over the coming decade, significantly strengthening Ukraine's future air combat capabilities. Equally significant is Sweden's confirmation that the Gripen aircraft will be supplied with Meteor Beyond Visual Range, BVR, air-to-air missiles. This would represent a substantial enhancement of Ukraine's beyond visual range engagement capability. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how Gripen with Meteor missile could give Ukraine massive edge in BVR combat. Before we proceed, a word on NordVPN, which is one of the most trusted and fastest VPN brand that has a no-log policy validated by Deloitte. NordVPN provides a 256-bit encrypted tunnel that protects your privacy and also enables you to access contents that are blocked based on geolocation. Its threat protection system helps you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. NordVPN application is available for all the major platforms as well as browsers. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal with massive saving by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. At present, Ukraine's medium-range air-to-air combat capability relies primarily on Mica-EM missiles, carried by Mirage 2000s and AIM-120 AMRAAMs, deployed on F-16 fighters. While both weapons are highly capable, their practical engagement envelopes are broadly comparable to the latest variants of the Russian R-77 missile fielded by aircraft such as the Su-35S and Su-30SM. Their maximum advertised ranges generally fall within the 80 to 100 kilometers, 50 to 62 miles class, depending on launch conditions and missile variant. However, Russia has maintained a significant advantage in long-range aerial engagements through the deployment of the R-37M BVR air-to-air missile. With a claimed maximum range exceeding 320 kilometers, 200 miles, the weapon has enabled Russian fighters to engage Ukrainian aircraft from distances well beyond the reach of most Western-supplied air-to-air missiles currently in Ukrainian service. This capability allows Russian aircraft to operate at considerable standoff distances, minimizing their exposure to Ukrainian interceptors while maintaining influence over the pace and geometry of air operations. Rather than engaging in traditional fighter-versus-fighter encounters, Russian pilots can launch long-range attacks from positions of relative safety, forcing Ukrainian aircraft into a defensive posture. The R-37M has already been credited with several notable kills. For example, according to reports compiled by the Aviation Safety Network, on February 2, 2025, a Ukrainian Su-27P-1M, tail number 59 Blue, of the 831st Tactical Aviation Brigade was shot down while returning from a ground support mission near Pokrovsk. The aircraft was reportedly engaged at a distance of approximately 130 kilometers, 80 miles, by a Russian Su-30SM-2 employing an R-37M missile. The pilot, 24-year-old Captain Ivan Vladimirovich Bolotov, was killed. Even low-flying aircraft traditionally considered difficult targets for long-range air-to-air missiles have proven vulnerable. Ukrainian Su-25 ground attack aircraft, which typically exploit terrain masking and low-altitude flight profiles to reduce detection, have also reportedly fallen victim to R-37M engagements. In early 2026, cockpit footage circulated through open-source channels and subsequently analyzed by military observers appeared to capture the destruction of a Ukrainian Su-25 by a long-range missile consistent with the R-37M threat profile. These illustrate the tactical advantages enjoyed by Russian long-range fighter patrols. Aircraft such as the MiG-31BM and Su-35S frequently operate at altitudes exceeding 40,000 feet while remaining within Russian-controlled airspace. Launching from high altitude and high speed allows the R-37M to capitalize on substantial gravitational and kinetic energy, extending its effective engagement envelope and increasing the missile's endgame performance. Importantly, the missile's effectiveness extends beyond aircraft destruction. Even when a successful intercept is not achieved, the mere presence of the R-37M imposes significant operational constraints on Ukrainian aviation. Once pilots receive warning of an incoming missile, they are often compelled to abandon their assigned missions, jettison or release ordnance prematurely, and execute aggressive evasive maneuvers to survive. This can mean the loss of the intended strike opportunity even if the missile ultimately misses its target. Gripen is a lightweight, single-engine multi-role fighter developed by the Swedish aerospace company Saab. Designed to deliver high combat effectiveness while maintaining relatively low operating costs, the Gripen has emerged as one of the most capable and cost-efficient fighter aircraft available on the international market. Gripen C was the third iteration of the fighter, D being the two-seat version of the C. The Gripen E represents the latest and most advanced evolution of the Gripen family, incorporating extensive upgrades to meet the demands of modern aerial warfare. The Gripen F serves as the two-seat variant, optimized for advanced training and complex mission profiles requiring a second crew member. Renowned for its advanced avionics, high agility, and ease of maintenance, the Gripen combines sophisticated combat capabilities with operational flexibility. The aircraft is capable of reaching speeds of up to Mach 2 and has a range of 1,300 kilometers, or about 800 miles, sufficient to conduct missions across large areas of contested airspace. Older variants have PS-05A, Pulse Doppler Multi-Mode X-band radar, developed by Ericsson and GE Marconi. The all-weather radar is capable of locating and identifying targets 120 kilometers, 74 miles away, but its Mark IV version has 1.5 times improvement in most parameters. Gripen EF comes with Raven ES-05, Active Electronically Scanned Array, AESA radar, which has range of around 300 kilometers, 186 miles, for fighter-sized targets. The Gripen is designed to employ a broad range of air-to-air, air-to-ground, and reconnaissance weapons, allowing it to adapt rapidly to diverse mission requirements. Most importantly for Ukraine, the aircraft is fully compatible with the Meteor Beyond Visual Range air-to-air missile. Developed by MBDA through a multinational European program involving 6 partner nations, Meteor was conceived from the outset to defeat both current and emerging aerial threats. Widely regarded as one of the most capable air-to-air missiles in service today, it is designed to engage a broad spectrum of targets, ranging from highly maneuverable fighter aircraft to cruise missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles operating under challenging weather conditions. A key factor behind Meteor's exceptional performance is its advanced ramjet propulsion system. Like conventional air-to-air missiles, Meteor initially accelerates using a solid-fuel booster. Once at speed, however, the missile transitions to a variable-flow ramjet engine that continuously ingests atmospheric oxygen to sustain propulsion throughout much of its flight. This propulsion architecture provides a significant advantage over traditional rocket-powered missiles. Whereas conventional missiles rapidly lose energy after motor burnout, Meteor continues to generate thrust deep into the engagement envelope, allowing it to maintain high speed and maneuverability during the terminal phase. The missile is capable of speeds exceeding Mach 4 and retains sufficient kinetic energy to execute aggressive maneuvers against highly agile targets, including modern super-maneuverable fighters. Meteor's maximum engagement range is commonly cited at approximately 160 kilometers, 100 miles, although the actual effective range varies depending on launch altitude, speed, and target characteristics. The missile employs a sophisticated guidance architecture that combines inertial navigation with two-way data link connectivity during the mid-course phase of flight. Throughout the engagement, the launching aircraft can transmit updated target information while simultaneously receiving real-time data from the missile regarding fuel state, energy status, and tracking performance. This two-way communication significantly enhances tactical flexibility, enabling pilots to assess engagement progress, launch additional weapons if required, or retarget the missile toward alternative threats. During the terminal phase, Meteor activates its advanced X-band active radar seeker, allowing the missile to independently acquire, track, and engage its designated target with high precision. To maximize lethality, The missile is equipped with a sophisticated warhead package incorporating Saab-developed proximity and impact fusing systems. These systems ensure detonation occurs at the optimal point during an intercept, maximizing fragment dispersion and target destruction probability. The Gripen is particularly well suited to Ukraine's operational environment. Unlike many Western fighters, including the F-16, which depend heavily on well-maintained air bases and extensive ground infrastructure, the Gripen was specifically designed during the Cold War for dispersed operations under wartime conditions. The aircraft can operate from damaged runways, improvised airstrips, and even stretches of highway, while requiring only a small maintenance team to refuel, rearm, and return it to combat. This ability significantly enhances survivability by complicating enemy targeting efforts and reducing dependence on vulnerable fixed air bases. Equally important is the integration of the Meteor. The introduction of this missile could begin to erode the long-standing Russian advantage. Although the Meteor does not match the R-37M's advertised maximum range, it compensates with an exceptionally large no-escape zone of 60 kilometers, or about 37 miles. The no-escape zone is an aerial combat term for a cone-shaped area determined by the missile's capabilities, from where a targeted aircraft cannot escape solely using its own maneuverability. To survive the no-escape zone, a fighter jet has to be able to jam, electronic countermeasures, the seeker of the incoming missile, or deceive it by firing chaff, strips of metal foil, to obstruct radar detection. Meteor's no-escape zone is far greater than that of the R-77 and the R-37M, but also that of the AIM-120. According to the MBDA, in a head-on engagement, the Meteor provides a no-escape zone 3 times greater than that of a conventionally powered missile. With the Meteor launched in pursuit of a target, a tail-chase engagement, the Meteor is 5 times as lethal as a conventional equivalent. Only the Mica-EM has a similar no-escape zone, but has a far lower maximum range. When combined with the Gripen's advanced sensors, especially the EF variant, data links, and electronic warfare systems, the Meteor gives Ukrainian pilots the ability to engage hostile aircraft at significantly greater ranges while maintaining a high probability of kill throughout the engagement envelope. More importantly, it introduces a credible threat to Russian fighter patrols that have thus far benefited from relative freedom of action at standoff distances. This alters the battle dynamics significantly.